Welcome to Big Boy Travel. Today we are back in Hallstatt, Austria to show you the top 10 best things that you absolutely need to do while you're in this amazing village. The lakeside village of Hallstatt, Austria is one of the most breathtaking places to visit in Europe, and it should definitely be on your must-see list. There are many days worth of things to do here, and it can be quite relaxing. However, many tourists in Hallstatt simply rush in to snap a few photos and rush back out, never really taking it all in. To help make sure you experience the best the village has to offer, this video is going to cover the top 10 things you need to do in Hallstatt. We have a very comprehensive companion guide to this video available for free on our website, bigboytravel.com. Our guide is packed full of insider tips to help you plan your trip to Hallstatt. It covers each of the things that we're going to talk about in great detail and has a very helpful interactive map. We also have many other videos on Hallstatt, including ones about how to get here and what to expect during both the salt mine and ice cave tours, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. The number one thing to do in Hallstatt is to stroll through the village along the wonderful Lakeside Street, which feels like it was pulled right out of an Alpine storybook. We like to start our stroll near the Lawn bus stop to catch the classic profile view of town, which definitely resembles the silhouette of Arendelle from Disney's Frozen. Pay attention to how the medieval houses cling to the mountain like cliffside swallows' nests. These homes are well preserved, as before a road was created in the 1800s, the only way to reach Hallstatt was either by boat or by narrow mule path. The main road today hovers over the water on pylons and is lined with restaurants, guest houses, souvenir shops, and of course great views of Lake Hallstatt. Make sure not to rush your stroll and take time to explore the waterfront paths. This helps to slow everything down and will also give you a break from the other tourists. Near the water, you can also get up close and personal with the village's resident swans, which were introduced to the lake by the Habsburgs back when they ruled Austria. The majestic swans are almost an attraction all by themselves. During the Hallstatt Stroll, you'll pass by numerous lakeside restaurants, which we will cover later in this video as they're one of the top 10 things to experience in town on their own right. So make sure to keep watching for more info on dining while you're here. As you get close to the heart of the village, you may also want to spend part of the stroll on the upper path to get a view of the lake from between the rooftops of Hallstatt. We highlight many of the things that you'll see along the paths in great detail on our Hallstatt walking tour guide, which is available for free on our website, bigboytravel.com. Regardless of the route you take, you'll be funneled into the colorful market square. This cozy public space is where Hallstatt gained its market rights in the 1300s and is filled with homes covered in flatly manicured fruit trees and colorful flower boxes. We cover the secret details of Market Square in depth on our free Hallstatt walking tour guide, including info on the Great Fire of 1750. The pinnacle of the Hallstatt Stroll is definitely the iconic postcard view on the northern edge of town. The view from the terrace is inspirational and one of the most beautiful in Europe regardless of the season. For many visitors, this view is the sole reason why they've come to town after being lured in by social media images, but Hallstatt has so much else left to offer. Our number 2 thing to do in Hallstatt is to tour the 7,000-year-old salt mine, which is the oldest in the world. The history plus a ride on the wooden miner slides make the tour very exciting. Because the mine sits over 1,000 feet above the village center, you'll ride up the mountainside in a funicular lift, which adds to the fun. The glass-walled funicular cars glide up the mountain in just 3 minutes, and you'll have unbelievable panoramic views over the village and Lake Hallstatt. Arriving at the top of Salt Hill, you enter the Hochtal, or High Valley, and get to do a very enjoyable hike along a gradual wooded path to the mine entrance. The tour experience begins quite immersively, as you'll be given miner's gear to slide over your normal clothes before heading underground. You'll be happy to know that the multilingual tour is primarily in English. We also love that the tours are open almost all year with just a short break in the winter, but the mine is not accessible for strollers or wheelchairs. You'll learn a ton about the history of the mine during your tour and can get hands-on with huge illuminated blocks of rock salt. You will also get to see a light show over an underground lake, Plus, inside the Bronze Age cinema, you'll be able to see Europe's oldest wooden staircase, which is over 3,000 years old. With activity dating back 7,000 years, this is the oldest salt mine in the world, and it's one of the main reasons why you should visit. To put it into context, there's been salt mining going on in Hallstatt before there was a Rome, and even before the pyramids were built in Egypt. The salt mine also made ancient Hallstatt extremely wealthy and so influential over the culture of Central Europe that an entire period of time is now known as the Hallstatt era. We have a very in-depth video of the full salt mine tour in great detail, which also covers the complete history, including the amazing finds at the Bronze Age graveyard, and it's available on our YouTube channel. The thing we love doing the most on the salt mine tour is taking a ride down the thrilling wooden miner slides.
Bye bye, ciao ciao, and don't forget to smile.
It's really fast. The biggest of the slides is 210 feet long, which is the largest wooden slide in Europe. It takes a souvenir photo at the end, and it even tracks your speed. To wrap up the underground portion of your salt mine visit, you'll board the exciting miner's train to ride out to the exit. As you rest your feet, the extended ride on the train helps to put it into perspective on how far underground you are. Another spectacular tour awaits at our number 3 thing to do in Hallstatt, which is a visit to the Dachstein Ice Cave. You'll be guided through huge caverns, past stunning ice formations, and even get to experience a little taste of alpine hiking. The ice cave is located on the outer edge of Hallstatt, which requires a short bus ride to get to, but it is very easy to do. Make sure to check out our dedicated guide and video on the Hallstatt Ice Cave to see all of the details and our insider tips. When you arrive at the visitor center, you'll be at the foot of the monumental Dachstein Mastiff, which we will ascend up in a gondola cable car. After the peaceful ride up the mountain, it'll be a 20-minute hike to the entrance of the ice cave. The alpine hiking does go uphill along a switchback trail, but it's very enjoyable if you take your time. We'll be covering our favorite hikes to do in Hallstatt later in this video, as it's something very important to do while you're in Austria. The tour inside the ice cave takes roughly 1 hour, and the vast size of the caverns is very impressive. The cave was discovered in 1910, and in addition to the ice formations, they also found the skull of a prehistoric bear. This was an astonishing find, and you'll be able to meet an animatronic version of the ancient cave bear during your tour. As you learn about the history of the ice cave, they also have relaxing light shows set up in many of the caverns. While the light shows are cool, the main attraction is definitely the ice itself. We really love how the pathways and stairs tend to hug the ice formations and sometimes even cut right through them. Inside the largest of the rooms, you get to see a frozen stalactite that's 30 feet tall. It is formed over time by water dripping through the limestone and is definitely a little phallic looking, but they say nature works in mysterious ways. Don't forget to look backwards before leaving some of the rooms, as the views can be quite stunning, and know that this is one of the few ice caves in Europe that you can actually take pictures inside. You'll need to wear sturdy shoes for the tour and dress for the temperature, as it averages around 27 degrees in the cave, but it will feel a little bit warmer with all the walking you're doing. The most impressive feature in the cave tour is the gigantic frozen waterfall that plunges into an icy void. There's an elevated catwalk that provides the perfect viewpoint of the waterfall, and they've also recently added a long hanging bridge that lets you go right over the top of it. With so many thrills to go with the chills, the case could be made that the ice cave is the best thing to do in Hallstatt, but because the tours are closed for 6 full months during the winter, it solidly locks down our number 3 spot. You don't have to go far from the ice cave to get to our next favorite thing to do in Hallstatt, which is the Five Fingers Lookout that has platforms dangling almost a mile in height above the village. To easily reach the Five Fingers from the ice cave's cable car station, you'll ride up one additional level to the peak of the Krippenstein mountain. This will bring you above the tree line into a landscape that you'd expect to see in the Game of Thrones. Check this out, it's September. Look at all the snow. It's no wonder that this area is very popular for snow sports in the winter, and it actually has the longest ski run in all of Austria at 11 kilometers. Located along the walking path, we love pairing the Five Fingers with a visit to the Krippenstein Lodge, as the combo is something you definitely won't forget. They have good beer, even better food, and one of the most impressive views in all of Hallstatt. This view and the serene setting also make the lodge one of the best hotels in this region of Austria. Jumping back on the trail, it is around a 20-minute hike from the lodge to the Five Fingers Lookout. During your walk to the viewing platform, you'll see signs for numerous other features which are worth a visit if you have the time. We cover the side paths and extra features in great detail in our dedicated full-length YouTube video about the Five Fingers. And we finally got to Five Fingers. Still as amazing as the first time I was here. The aptly named lookout has 5 separate fingers sprawling out from the cliffside overlooking Lake Hallstatt. The bird's eye view you get into the valley below is truly breathtaking, and each one of the platforms has its own unique playful elements. So as long as you don't have a fear of heights, make sure to check out each one of the 5 fingers. And definitely don't try to be a hero no matter how brave you are, as the sheer drop below you is over 1,300 feet, and you're almost a full mile above the village of Hallstatt. We find the impressive depth of field and pure vastness of the view from the Five Fingers to be quite humbling, and we know you're going to love your visit. Now let's jump back down to the heart of Hallstatt for the next thing on our list. A visit to Hallstatt should leave you feeling rejuvenated, and there's no better way to find relaxation than by spending some time boating on its fjord-like lake. You'll be surrounded by tall alpine peaks while being eye-to-eye with the resident swans, and you'll get an entirely new perspective on Hallstatt's stacked homes as they cling in between the shoreline and the cliffside. The stillness on the lake almost looks like a mirror, which is perfect for some calm self-reflection. Locals say that just 1 hour on the tranquil water in Hallstatt is as good for your well-being as 1 full day of vacation. As you stroll the waterfront, you'll see numerous options for boat rentals to do your own self-guided cruise. The 2 most popular rental options are the slow-paced electric boats and the huge swan-shaped paddle boats. Floating on a giant swan can make you feel like you're the king of Hallstatt, but we enjoy the flexibility to explore with the electric boats. Just 1 hour on the lake will give you plenty of time to find a calm escape from the other tourists, and even to see the mysterious Castle Grube while you putz along. We will cover some of the folklore of this castle in a dedicated Boating in Hallstatt video. If you want an even more unique tour option, we love taking a ride in one of the traditional handcrafted wooden salt boats. These shallow, flat-bottom boats have been transporting goods and people on the lake for centuries before a road to Hallstatt was finally built in the 1800s. They have special night rides during full moons and even a private breakfast option right on the water. Maybe the most romantic boating experience in Hallstatt is commingling with the entire fleet of wooden barges while they are lavishly decorated during the village's Corpus Christi celebration. While we prefer to freestyle with a private rental, there are also some larger cruise boat tours in Hallstatt that operate in the summertime. But the most common way that visitors get out onto the water is the Stephanie Ferry. This reliable ship makes the loop connecting Hallstatt's village center to the train station across the lake many times a day, and it operates every day of the year, rain or shine or snow. Feeling refreshed? It's time to head back to shore for another one of the best things to do in Hallstatt. Hovering over the center of town near the salt mine, the next attraction we'll visit is a tantalizing Skywalk lookout to take in the World Heritage view. This open-air platform delights guests and provides a very unique perspective of the lake below. It's no wonder they call this area the top of Hallstatt, as the Skywalk sits over 1,100 feet over the heart of the village, which is actually quite a bit taller than even the Eiffel Tower. From sweeping to breathtaking to gorgeous, there are so many different adjectives to describe the view, and I don't think any of them really do it justice. The triangular-shaped Skywalk juts out an impressive 40 feet from the cliffside to hang above the lakeside village like the pointed bow of a ship overlooking the water. While you're suspended almost 1,200 feet above the village below, it can be very tempting to spread out your arms at the end of the platform like you're Kate Winslet riding on the Titanic. Please don't rush when you're at the Skywalk, as you really should slow down and take some time to both relax and view the platform from every single angle. Especially if you've already been exploring around Hallstatt, it is so much fun to see things that you'll recognize from a different perspective at the Skywalk. Whether it's your first time in town, or if you are a Hallstatt veteran, there are a number of important landmarks from this vantage point that we feel are worth pointing out. While we cover all of the landmarks in a dedicated YouTube video about the Hallstatt Skywalk, a couple of key ones to start off with would be the village down below, which fans out into the water like a river delta. This is because it was built on thousands of years of rubble that was washed down Salt Hill. There's also the wonderful Bathing Island, which is one of Hallstatt's hidden gems and a relaxing refuge even on the busiest of days. Plus, high across the lake, you'll see where we already visited both the Ice Cave and the Five Fingers Lookout. Make sure to watch our other video to learn more about all the landmarks you'll see from the Skywalk. In addition to the view itself, getting to the Skywalk is also part of the experience. You'll start by taking the funicular lift up the same hillside as the salt mine, so pairing the two attractions together is very easy. As an extra bonus, you'll be able to cross the stunning steel elevated footbridge spanning the width of the small gorge like an industrial piece of art. This modern bridge was made to resemble a classic railroad lift bridge, and paired with the funicular lift, it has made barrier-free access available for both wheelchairs and strollers all the way to the Skywalk. Crossing the bridge is really a 360-degree experience, as you'll truly have unbelievable panoramas no matter which direction you look. It's important to take your time and not rush to fully take it all in. Greeting all visitors at the end of the footbridge is the Rudolph's Tower, which was first built in 1284 to defend the salt mine. Today it peers down at the Skywalk from its commanding perch and serves as an excellent restaurant. You'll love getting a cold drink and some traditional Austrian food on their sweeping terrace while you visit the Skywalk. This combination will leave you feeling refreshed to do some hiking, which we'll do next on our list of best things to do in town. Getting into the outdoors for some great hiking is not only one of the top 10 things to do in Hallstatt, but also a very important part of alpine culture. From rolling Austrian meadows to crystal clear water filled with swans, and exciting mountain trails with unmatched views, there are a ton of great hiking opportunities in and around Hallstatt. One of our favorite hikes in town is the zigzag path that leads down from the Skywalk back into the heart of the village. It doesn't take very long on the path to start seeing views so grand that you know why it's called the Panorama Trail. We tend to stop at every few switchbacks just in awe of how beautiful it is. At only 30 minutes, it's a pretty quick descent down, but it's very rewarding. One of the most entertaining features of the hike is interacting with the mighty Millbrook waterfall that cascades down the mountainside in a series of tiered drop-offs before cutting through the heart of town. Toward the bottom of the trail, you get to the wonderful Müllerstieg, or Miller Step, which is considered by many to be the most beautiful viewpoint in all of town. We love peering just over the rooftops at the lake, especially after a fresh snowfall. There's a large number of peaceful hiking spots all throughout the village, including one that follows the medieval brine pipeline, but many locals will tell you they prefer the Ischirental. The entrance to the Ischeren Valley has both the funicular lift that you take to get up Salt Hill, plus the main parking lot in Hallstatt, and lots of beautiful scenery. The complete valley hike takes 2 to 3 hours round trip, and during your time on the wooded path you'll pass by several streams and numerous waterfalls, including the Schleie Fall, which has a 450-foot tall sheer drop. We previously mentioned the great hikes associated with visiting both the Ice Cave and Five Fingers, but Hallstatt can also be a wonderful gateway to explore the rest of the Salzkammergut region either by foot or by bike. There are almost endless options for local hiking, so we will work on another video covering our 10 favorite hikes both in and around Hallstatt in great detail to help you plan your itinerary, as it really is one of the best things to do while you're here. As you explore Hallstatt, you'll get glimpses at almost every turn of its rich 7,000-year history. One of the most unique elements you'll discover is the medieval bone chapel next to the Catholic Church, which is filled with painted human skulls. There is such a limited availability of land in Hallstatt that skulls and other large bones would have to be moved over time from the compact cemetery into the chapel to make room for new burials. In 1720, this practice gained the added tradition of painting the skulls with loving decorations. In total, there are 1,200 skulls in the collection, with over 600 of them being on display along with countless femurs. We will cover some of the finer details of the bone chapel in another video, as the symbolism hidden in the paintings is quite interesting. You'll find the skulls of priests elevated on Bibles, one with a serpent who is the son of the gravedigger, and the oldest of the skulls in the bone chapel are from the 1700s with dark painted green reefs. Other decorations on the skulls include ivy and roses and even oak leaves, with all of them having their own special meaning. The practice died off when cremation became more widely accepted, and the most recent resident to the bone chapel was added in 1995. You can still see her gold tooth preserved in her skull and a marking for 1983, the year of her death. As you leave the 900-year-old chapel, you'll also want to explore the tightly packed cemetery. Each one of the graves has its own flower garden, collecting an allotment of sunshine below a simple wooden or iron marker. On a cramped terrace overlooking the lake, you can see why the bone chapel was necessary to create more space for new burials. If you've watched our Hallstatt salt mine video, you know that unique burial practices are nothing new here. The Bronze Age necropolis they found above the village has thousands of graves, with many of them filled with rich artifacts. During this time, Hallstatt's early influence was the predominant material culture in all of Central Europe, and led to an entire period of history from 800 to 400 BC to be known as the Hallstatt era. Before you leave the bone chapel, also make sure to check out the neighboring Catholic church, which is nearly 900 years old. Inside the Gothic ribbed interior, you'll find a few historic altars. There is one for Mary, which also features St. Barbara, the patron of salt miners, and the so-called miner's altar, which was partly stolen in a famous art heist. Now it's time to let the skulls and graves rest while we find our own piece at one of Hallstatt's lakeside restaurants. After strolling around Lake Hallstatt, the open-air restaurant terraces will just beg you to stop in for some food and a refreshing drink along the water's edge. Just look for a group of umbrellaed tables and pick your spot. They almost all have great views of the lake. Dining at a shoreline table is one of the best things to do in Hallstatt. Not only will you better appreciate the village's sleepy lifestyle, but you can also sample some wonderful local dishes in a perfect atmosphere. It's a shame that too many visitors rush through Hallstatt and don't have the patience to rest both their legs and cameras long enough for a laid-back meal. The most important food to try is the whitefish known as Rheinanka, which is caught directly out of the cold waters of Lake Hallstatt and served with a side of potatoes. Grilled with the head and skin both on, the presentation is as delicious as the taste. As Austria's second deepest lake, there are many other fish options, and we also really like the trout and the Saibling char. If fish isn't your thing, you can also get traditional Austrian dishes, including perfectly cooked schnitzel and really tasty cheese dumpling soup. There are also so many good drink pairings for your food, from local dry white wine to regional beers like Stiegel, Truma Pils, and even the well-named Hallstatt Das Bier. While we have a full guide at bigboytravel.com covering all of the best places to eat in town, our favorite one along the waterfront is the Sea Hotel Grunerbaum. This palatial mansion off Market Square has a huge lakeside terrace with palm trees, comfortable seating, and it feels like it's being patrolled by swans. The shaded patio at the Brau Gasthof is also one of the best in town, with playful decorations and mouth-watering food. It's no wonder this restaurant has been popular for hundreds of years. We are lovers of good coffee, so we often find ourselves stopping for a cappuccino and dessert at the Sea Terrace Cafe, which is built right over the water on stilts. Definitely check out the cafe and our full food guide for Hallstatt on our website. You may have noticed that most of the top restaurants in town are also guest houses, and the experience of staying overnight is our final of the top 10 things to do in Hallstatt. As you can see from the list we've already covered in this video, there's a solid 2 days worth of activities to do in the village, so extending your visit for a night beyond just a typical day trip allows you to comfortably fit them all into your Hallstatt itinerary. An overnight stay in one of the charming hotels will also buy you the flexibility to avoid the bottlenecks in the village during the peak tourist hours. While other visitors are aimlessly stumbling through the center of Hallstatt at a flurried pace midday, you'll be able to enjoy activities like boating, exploring the back alleys, hiking, or one of the tours with endless elbow room. Staying overnight will also let you take in the magical hours in the evening after the tourist groups leave and the next morning before they arrive again. During this time, you'll truly fall in love with the stillness of Hallstatt while you peacefully watch the sunrise or set all by yourself. In addition to the sunrise, being able to kick your feet up and eat your breakfast at a leisurely pace can be very rewarding. As a bonus, staying overnight is also the only way to fully partake in some of Hallstatt's best festivals, which often start in the evening after the last of the tour buses and trains are long gone. These events include full moon boat cruises, music nights, the torchlight processions, and the running of the Krampus on St. Nicholas Day. The darkness over the lake at night can reveal more stars than you ever thought you could see. We also love that the added time in town from staying overnight allows us to explore overlooked gems like the Hallstatt Museum. Here you can learn about the village's storied 7,000 years of history, including ancient artifacts from the salt mine and a prehistoric bear skull that was discovered in the ice cave. Across the street from the Hallstatt Museum, you can also find some hidden Roman ruins below the Janu Sport Shop, which unfortunately most visitors miss out on. There are dozens of guest houses in Hallstatt that should be worth your consideration, but with limited rooms you'll definitely want to book ahead. To help prioritize which hotel is best for you, make sure to check out our video and guide covering the top guest houses in Hallstatt. Our online guide is packed full of lots of insider tips and also has 1 to 3 day suggested itineraries to help you plan your trip. If you stay in Hallstatt for 2 or more nights, you can also use it as a gateway to explore the rest of the Salzkammergut region. This means you can go hiking around the lake in Gosau, can visit the Traunsee for the historic Castle Ort and stunning treetop walk, or can even go to the Wolfgangsee for some fun on the water and a ride up the unbelievable Schafberg Mountain on their classic locomotive. Once you make the leap into an overnight stay, you'll see the possibilities it opens up to fit all of the best things to do in Hallstatt into your itinerary. We have a very comprehensive companion guide to this video available for free on our website, bigboytravel.com. Our guide is packed full of insider tips to help you plan your trip to Hallstatt. It covers all of the top 10 sites in Hallstatt we covered in this video in even more detail. We really would like to thank you for watching this and our other videos on Hallstatt. Hopefully you feel better prepared and inspired for your visit. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, leave us a comment, and subscribe for even more great content from Big Boy Travel. Thank you again for watching and subscribing to our YouTube channel. We'll see you again soon.